to support Ukraine in its righteous defense. And because of our support, because of the air defense, the ammunition, the artillery, the javelins, the Abrams tanks that we have provided, Ukraine stands as an independent and free country. If Donald Trump were president, Putin would be sitting in Kyiv right now.
All right, first off, the Democrats love to talk about diplomacy and peace. But when it comes to actual foreign policy, they're quick to jump into conflicts that don't serve us directly. Ukraine is a perfect example. Yes, it's tragic what's happening over there, and nobody supports the invasion by Russia. But why is it our job to bankroll and arm a war in Eastern Europe? We've spent billions of dollars in aid, military equipment, and resources, while here at home, we've got inflation skyrocketing, homelessness rising, and veterans who can't get the care they need. Shouldn't we be fixing our own country first, before we dive into someone else's war? Let's listen to Donald Trump's stance on this foreign conflict.
Trillions of dollars, that's what caused all of the inflation. Those two things. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent something that nobody else will be able to do. I will prevent World War III, and you are very close to World War III. Biden and Kamala got us into this war in Ukraine, and now they can't get us out. They can't get us out. I watched him. We will win. We will. He's been saying that for 3 years. Every time Zelensky comes to the United States, he walks away with $100 billion. I think he's the greatest salesman on earth. But we're stuck in that war unless I'm president. I'll get it done. I'll get it negotiated. I'll get out. We got to get out.
While we're stuck in all these foreign conflicts, family-owned businesses have been struggling for the last 3.5 years.
The best crew in the world.
So how do you do against the big stores? How do you do?
You know, I'm very proud because every year we've been up, except for the last 3 years because of this inflation. Yeah. It's exactly what you said. The prices are up, but our sales are down. So we've had to get super creative in how we use our space to try to.
Prices go up and yet your sales are down.
Yeah. So it's been brutal just to try to. Thankfully, I have a great crew, great staff, my family. We work
How long
together.
has this been open?
We've been in business 25 years.
Wow.
We bought it. This store where you're standing there has been a grocery store since 1929.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
It's pretty crazy.
This is the current state of the country. The longer we stay involved in these conflicts, the more money gets funneled into defense contractors and political interests tied to these endless wars. It's the same old story. Keep the U.S. tangled up in foreign conflicts so the big players can keep profiting. Democrats are quick to demonize anyone who questions this strategy. If you ask why we're spending so much in Ukraine or pushing for more involvement, you're labeled as pro-Russia or anti-democracy. That's just lazy, and it shuts down any real conversation about what's best for America. And when you ask Democrats what's Kamala's plan to actually help the American people, this is what you get.
What is Harris's plan? We're waiting.
Yeah, okay, there's a lot of aspects to it in regards to looking at it online. So let's talk about lowering the grocery costs because that's something that's brought up. The viewers can look at this online. She talks about certain things in regards to advancing the first federal ban on price gouging on food and groceries, to set clear rules to the road to make it clear that big corporations can't unfairly exploit consumers as well.
Is that
and
happening?
secure new
Is that happening?
It's not at this moment. No, this is her plan that's laid out for the first 100 days when she becomes president of the United States of America.
Gouging, is that currently happening?
In regards to I don't know exactly if that's currently happening or not because I'm not privy to that type of information. Okay. But there are people are costing a lot of money in regards to groceries.
Okay. It seems like you're having a hard time articulating her plan. And
I'm not. Honestly, that's not true. Please, I'm constantly being interrupted by you, which, as a woman, I think is disrespectful. When I'm trying to speak, every time I try and speak, you speak over me.
Okay. Final thought.
Thank you so much for having me.
Okay, I was giving you time there. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate you joining.
See how the guest tries to play the women card? It's just laughable. It's not the host's fault you can't articulate what your candidate wants to do and why she's doing it. I mean, that's someone on Kamala's team, and they can't even explain her plan. And not only that, they've had almost 4 years to implement some of this so-called plan. and they haven't gotten it done. The election is 6 weeks away, and if we're just talking facts and resume, Trump clears the Biden-Harris administration, whether you like it or not.
And I guess that's my big question. When you look at all of the issues, whether it's the economy, the border, international affairs, who they trust, Donald Trump completely destroys her. But then when you look at the national polling, you look at the state to state, it becomes much closer. Why?
What's the difference between facts and narratives? People know the facts of what it looked like when they were under Donald Trump. Prices were flat, wages went up. We were out of World War III, nowhere close to it, and we had a secure border. Now we have the most open border we've had in our history of our country. We're closer to major conflict than we have any time in our lifetime. And the fact of the matter is that the economy is stagnant. You got prices that have gone up and wages that have remained flat. Those are the facts. However, the narrative around this, served up through much of the media, is that we're still a nation somehow in despair because of Donald Trump, even though it's been Joe Biden and Kamala Harris in office.
But reckless migration policy can change it very quickly, and it can destroy everything in its way, just like we've seen in London and Paris and Minneapolis. Look at what's happened in London. Look what's happening in Paris. If Kamala Harris wins this election, she will flood Pennsylvania cities and towns with illegal migrants from all over the world. And Pennsylvania will never be the same. You will never be the same. When I'm president, all migrant flights to Pennsylvania will stop immediately. By the way, all migrant flights.
We are screwing up tons of other things, including immigration, but life isn't either or. So, you can't say, well, we'll do this and do that. You're dealt the hand you're dealt, and you got to deal with it. And so we should be very clear about helping the lower income population. No country, every country's got to control the borders, and we have to control the borders. And so, so they're all important.
Would you take the deal that the Republicans have put on the table, though, which is we want this border immigration policy as we've laid out, and then we'll fund the rest? Would you rather take that than neither?
I have not read that deal in total, but I probably would take it. Yeah. We have to control the borders. We need more merit-based immigration. We need more seasonal immigration. We need more. We need DACA have a place here. We need a path to citizenship. If you do not control the borders, you are going to destroy our country. And so I think the people who think that somehow this is okay. So now they're sending the migrants into New York and stuff like that. So all of my super liberal friends. Now they realize what a problem is. Did it have to be that?
At the end of the day, it's clear that Democrats aren't focused on what's best for America. They're more interested in maintaining a global presence and pushing their interventionist agenda. It's time to start focusing on what's going on here at home. Rebuilding our economy, securing our borders, and putting American citizens first.